Now, there's an amazing story brewing out of New York that the mainstream media refuses to cover because they know this would be a terrible look for the Democrat Party in the wake of all the terrible things going on. You got the Democrat shutdown. You got Comey and Letitia James being indicted and the liberal media trying to cover up and spin it. And now out of New York, we find out that a Republican is actually giving Kathy Hochul a run for her money and has a great chance to win the governor of New York. When was the last time you ever imagined that a Republican has a chance to win in New York? Well, it's happening right now. And the fact that the mainstream media is not covering it and they're still this close says a lot about what's going on. So in this video, I'm going to cover the story real quick, and then I'm going to show you clips of who this Republican is and just how they've been sticking it to Kathy Hochul. So let's check out the article real quick. GOP chances of winning New York. Governor election gets major boost in the latest poll. Republican candidate Elise Stefanik's chances of winning New York's gubernatorial election have increased according to a new internal poll. According to the polling commissioned and paid for by Stefanik's fundraising committee, Stefanik, who currently represents New York's 21st congressional district, is marginally leading her Democratic rival, Governor Kathy Hochul, who is vying for a second term by a 1% margin. A Republican is winning in New York by 5. Now, on all of the liberal polls, they've got Hochul ahead by just 5 points. So, you know, if the liberal media is saying that it's only a 5-point lead, means that Stefanik probably is winning, or else they wouldn't even allow it to be that close. They would have said 10 points if it really was 5. But the fact that they could only get away with saying 5 and try to leverage the whole margin of error thing says a lot. The polling comes some 14 months before the election, which is scheduled to take place on November the 3rd, 2026, and highlights the changing mood of the electorate in what is reliably a Democratic state. Newsweek reached out to Stefanik and Hochul by email to comment on the story. That's Elise Stefanik. Why it matters. The polling may concern Democrats. The state leans blue and has voted Democratic presidential candidates in the last 10 elections. But President Donald Trump garnered 12% more of the vote share in the state in 2024 than he did in 2020. And that's a lot. If Stefanik beats Hochul, who became New York's first female governor when former Governor Andrew Cuomo resigned in August 2021 amid sexual harassment claims, which he has denied, or loses with tight margins, it may confirm a Republican shift in the state. What to know? The poll of 1,250 likely midterm voters found that Stefanik is in the lead with 46.4% of the vote share to Hochul's 45.9%. This was in scenario in which Hochul's recent endorsement of New York mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani was taken into account. When that decision was not taken into account, Hochul was in the lead by 48% to 43%. So taking into account, if Hochul didn't endorse Mamdani, it was 48-43, but she did endorse Mamdani. So let me get off into this clip here where you get a chance to see Elise Stefanik and Governor Kathy Hochul clash. And you get a chance to see that Stefanik is not a pushover. She is nobody to play with. And this is with the governor of her state. Check this clip out. And then I got a couple more. Check this out.
Do you know who Sakir Khan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not. This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car. He took her clothes off, and he violently raped her in Albany, New York. Do you know who Sebastian Zapita Khalil is?
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're...
These are high-profile cases. Yes. New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. So let's talk about Sebastian Zapita Khalil. Do you know who that is?
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive. This is in Kathy Hochul's New York. And as I'm sure you are aware, and I'll remind you, that ICE issued an order to detain this violent criminal, but that was rejected by New York officials due to sanctuary state laws. Now, do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this These crimes are horrific.
Because of
condemn
your
them.
because of
And I
your
would say
sanctuary state
In
policies.
all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove
You did
them.
not in this case. They are
They need
walking
our
on the
assistance.
streets because of your policies and your executive order that you signed 3 times. Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. I will
You don't know
explain to
who
you
it
the
is.
policies of New York. We cooperate with, I know you're just
You do
trying
not.
to.
You do not. Specifically,
Miss-
ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a woman alive on the New York subways in Kathy Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell
We
you
do
who
not-
that is. He is an illegal who molested an 11-year-old in our state because, again, of your sanctuary state policies. This illegal was shielded from federal immigration enforcement and able to commit this heinous crime. And what about Wilson Castillo Diaz? Do you know who that
I'm
is?
telling you this. We do cooperate fully with ICE in criminal prosecution. Our sanctuary
You're not advocating for these victims.
Only deal
This
with
is a
civil
5-year-old who
enforcement.
was raped
Civil
on Long
enforcement.
Island in Nassau County.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up. I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that thumbs up, it really helps the channel. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure that you hit your notifications and you select all to make sure YouTube notifies you the next time I upload new videos.
You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. Even in your opening statement,
That is
you
not
prioritize putting illegals first.
That is not
Rapes
true.
of young girls, beatings of NYPD cops by illegals who are here under Kathy Hochul's failed policies, burning New Yorkers alive. This is Kathy Hochul's New York. It's one of the many reasons why you're hemorrhaging support from hardworking New York
These are
families.
horrific crimes, and they're
They're
heartbreaking.
horrific crimes that are committed on your watch. You signed this executive order on your first day in office. You signed it again and again this January. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
Rather than
the
going
chairman's-
after the viral moment, I suggest you
No.
look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers.
No.
Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders. Instead of advocating
We
for
cooperate
victims,
in all
a
those
5-year-old
cases.
who
We
was raped,
cooperate with ICE.
you did not. They were released
We
because
cooperate
of
with
sanctuary
ICE.
state
We
policies in New
cooperate
York
with
State.
law
No
enforcement.
amount of words is going to clean up your failed record and these horrific crimes committed in sanctuary state that you created. And with that, I
Your
yield back.
representation, the facts,
Gentlelady,
absolutely
yield-
false.
yields back.
Whew. Elise Stefanik does not play. If you weren't familiar with who she is, that's who she is. Now, I want you to pay attention to this here because as you can see, this was a while ago, but New York, you better get used to it because illustrious Governor Hochul just backed the chameleon mayor candidate, Mamdani. And I want you to look at that. That's in New York. That's in New York. That's what they're bringing. That's what Kathy Hochul supports. That's what she's about. That's what Elise Stefanik is running up against. Now, let's check this out. As the illustrious governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, endorses Zoran Mamdani, the self-proclaimed socialist, and then I'm going to follow it up with what Mamdani did to her, which put egg on her face. Check this clip out.
After months of delay, New York Governor Kathy Hochul caving to her far-left base and endorsing socialist Zoran Mamdani for the New York City mayor. Moments ago, President Trump reacting, calling her support for the quote communist a bad move. And our next guest agrees as she faces a growing push to challenge Hochul for governor. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik joins us now. And Congresswoman, you did not waste much time going after her decision to do it. Why?
Well, Kathy Hochul is the worst governor in America, and it was only a matter of time before she bent the knee for this raging anti-Semite communist. The reality is Kathy Hochul owns Zoran Mamdani's position to defund the police, to abolish our law enforcement, to abolish prisons, to abolish private health care insurance, to decriminalize sex workers. It is outrageous. She also owns every radical proposal, whether it's raising taxes, whether it's government-run grocery stores, and his anti-Semitism, which puts New York at risk and is a danger to the Jewish community in New York City. Kathy Hochul owns this. And the sad thing is, Brian, the majority of New York City residents have said they support anyone other than Zoran Mamdani. She is so petrified of her far left that she is bending the knee to this communist. She owns him lock, stock, and barrel.
I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Chapter. And here's why. When my mom hit 65 years old, I watched her get bombarded with mailers, cold calls, and all these confusing ads about Medicare. And every single company pretended like they wanted to help her, but really they were just trying to sell her stuff. It seemed like the game was rigged and she was not supposed to win at all. And that's why I'm so excited to share information about Chapter with all of you. Now, who Chapter is? Chapter is a free Medicare advisory service that compares Medicare plans available, and they give you real, unbiased guidance. Chapter is completely independent and always puts customers first. Their whole focus is all about making sure that their customers, the seniors, get the right Medicare plan. And it's clear that they're making a real difference in the lives of seniors. So if you want real, unbiased help with Medicare, give Chapter a call at 402-527-1253. You'll talk to a real person who will help you figure out exactly which plan is right for you and has saved the average senior $1,000 a year. So I'm going to put the number here on the screen for you to be able to contact, or if you visit the website, go to askchapter.org/realpolitics. Wow. She's not playing around. Now, you heard her say, now you saw at the beginning of the video, or that clip, that Kathy Hochul endorsed Zohran Mamdani. But guess what happened to her? Mamdani declines to back Hochul's reelection after she offered her coveted endorsement. See, what she thought was, if I get behind the far left, they'll get behind me. That's not how these people operate. When you give them a little, they want a lot. And then they want more, and then they want more. That's a socialist. They want everything you got, and they want to control it and spoon feed you with your own resources. So Kathy Hochul shows she does not have the leadership necessary to run New York, the financial epicenter of not just the country, but of the world. In New York used to be, I can remember as a child, if you went to New York, you know the phrase, if you could make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. It was the Big Apple. Everybody wanted to go to see the bright lights. Now, it is no place that I want to go at all. I don't want to visit New York. My wife recently said, hey, you want to go to New York? I said, for what? To fight back illegal immigrants? Look at all the crime. The police aren't going to do anything. And you can't even carry a firearm in that state without going to prison. I'll pass. And that's just the way it is. LA, same thing. Who wants to go to LA? Or San Francisco? Nobody wants to go there because the left-wing radicals have taken over the Democrat Party. And now the Democrat politicians are terrified of these people because, as you see, the left, the far left, they don't value life and they will eat their own. So we should all applaud the fact that a Republican has the chance of winning the governor of New York. And whatever we got to do, if you got family members in New York, contact them. If you can donate to her campaign, donate, do whatever. And I don't care if it's 50 cents, $1, whatever you can give to help Elise Stefanik, because you know that the political financial bracket there in New York isn't divvy and fair. You know they're giving more to Hochul than they are to Stefanik. And look at the fact that this woman on internal polls is winning when you factor in the fact that she endorsed Mamdani. But like the article said, when you don't factor that in, for those who don't know that she did that, it's still only a 5-point lead, which in my mind, if the liberal media is saying it's a 5-point lead, is really either neck and neck or Stefanik is actually winning by that point. So I just wanted to bring you this to let you know the tide is turning. Things are shifting. Don't let the lamestream media make you believe that somehow Democrats are making a push. That's why the lamestream media is in overdrive, trying to make us believe that the Democrats have so much support. If there was support, we would see it. How often have you spoke to anybody that just is just excited to be a Democrat? They're not around. And wherever they are, they're in these deep blue, far lefty areas in a small, condensed community. They're not spread out all over the place. Look at Portland. Look at Seattle. Look at New York City. Look at Chicago. Look at Boston. It's not everywhere. It's in these pockets, but it's heavily populated, highly dense, and super deep blue. So I just wanted to bring you this to let you know what's going on. If you've watched it up to this point, I really do appreciate it. I thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. I'm not sure if you can hear one of my chickens clucking right outside my office window, but I have 13 chickens on my property. But I thank you. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.